So, when I first started watching this anime, I definitely thought I wasn't going to be a fan of it, and I almost turned it off after the first episode. But I'm very glad that I didn't. Because The Dangers in My Heart ended up being one of the most well written romance anime that I have ever seen. The reason why it's not flashy, it's not dramatic, and it tells a better story than most romance animes can't really tell. What it's like to hate yourself. Now, we meet the main character, Ichikawa, and we can see he is the loner type. He has very overzealous, dramatic thoughts, borderline dark thoughts. One of the moments that we all remember watching in the show is in the first episode. He literally has thought after getting bumped accidentally by one of his friends in the friends group, and he immediately has a dark thought where he takes out his box cutter and starts cutting, like just slicing him up. But then he stops himself from really doing it, and then he looks over and he can kind of like he has a personal vendetta against Anna, but we don't really know why. And he can see that Anna is looking back at him, and he's just like, oh, like I'm gonna make her suffer. And he has a lot of dark, tentative thoughts that continuously happen over the show, but it's continuously gets better, and that's one of the reasons why I like this anime because of the pacing. Now, then we meet Anna, and the first moment we meet Anna, we can typically assume that she's a very popular, but then you start to notice she's not really who she seems to be, and it's literally the don't judge a book by its cover, because if you were to just basically on the cover, you would think that Anna is a typical pretty like popular girl, but she's really awkward. She likes eating, she constantly likes to eat, she's an airhead sometimes, and she can be quietly emotionally intuitive when she wants to be. And the one thing that I very much find that I like about this show is the pacing of the show, because this is over the course of 2 seasons. 2 seasons, guys. And Ichikawa doesn't immediately become cool. He doesn't immediately become popular. He happens over time because he has a lot of thoughts to himself where you don't belong. Why would she be with someone like you and you don't really belong? But then he starts to show her in the moments where they're alone together that he who he truly is, and she's able to see that, and that's what makes her fall in love with him. Now, when it comes to the show as well, we have important side characters, because in the first episode we meet a guy that Ichikawa presumes to be her boyfriend, but he ends up being a total dickhead in the space of the course of the 2 seasons of the show. And in the first moment, he's kind of bullying Anna Yamada into giving him her number. And she almost does, but then Ichikawa, who is quietly trying to take care of her, throws his bike into the lake, sacrificing it just to cause a moment where she doesn't have to give him her number. And that is another moment where I feel like Anna Yamada really started to like Ichikawa. But like I said, this show is one of the best well written animes, but also, I do feel like another reason why this anime hits so well is because we've all had the feelings that Ichikawa's had. The feeling, the thought in our head where you don't belong, you're weird. Why would someone like you? And this anime doesn't really ignore the thought in the head, it acknowledges it, but then it does something beautiful. It challenges it, not with like big when I was on big gesture, but with small moments of kindness. And in terms of how the show eventually progressed towards the end, you can slowly start to see the progression of like them getting a lot closer to each other. There's moments where like Ichikawa goes over to her place, then Ana Yamada goes over to his place. His sister loves Ana Yamada and is kind of the biggest simp of her in the general sense, and we can kind of continuously see moments where Ana is really just being her true self. And Ichikawa has moments in the show where he saves her quietly, especially in the moment where she's about to get found out for eating in the library when they told them to stop eating in the library, and Ichikawa grabs her hand by slowly, like crushing what was in her hand, the food that was in her hand, right before the teacher came and saw. So that's another good moment I very much loved about the show. but the dangers in my heart really isn't about danger. It's about what happens when someone looks at you and doesn't look away. It's about maybe realizing you're not broken, you're just afraid. And sometimes the best thing you can do isn't confess your feelings, it's believing that you are worth being loved in the first place. And that is just a part of the reason why I love the dangers in my heart.